Good morning, everyone. Carolyn, do you want to go ahead and start us off in prayer?
All right. I'll pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for just waking us up and letting us see another day. Father, we thank you for just your protection, for your grace, and for your mercies. And Father, we pray right now for all those that are grieving, whether they've lost someone or just not feeling well in their body. We just pray that you would just give them strength. Father, we pray for all the families that were grieved with tragedy on Sunday as the plane went down. Father, I just ask that you just protect all of them. And Father, just let us always remember to tell our families how much we love them and appreciate them before we leave the house, because you never know what may happen and you may not be able to return. So Father, just help us to be kind and love one another. And Father, give us the things to say and do the message to help all faculty be successful and be the best in class. It's for in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. All right, so we have Dr. Elsasser joining us this morning, Jim Narlock. Dr. Love is here with us, and Dr. Kaplan. Thank you this morning for joining us. We're going to start off, you probably should see the agenda, with a status of professional development. So Holly, you're up first.
All right, can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
So I'm just going to give you a quick update. We are going to be voting on the month of February for our professional development stipends. So I should have that up shortly. Unfortunately, we do not have a lot of people in the running for that. I just took a peek at our SurveyMonkey, which it goes through. So hopefully we'll get a couple more in within the next week so we can take a look at that. And we do take your votes. So make sure you go on there on our board. I will post something and just kind of say which one that you would prefer to receive the stipend, and we'll tally the votes, and then we will make a decision upon that.
All right, thank you, Holly. Any questions about the professional development stipend? Yeah. All right, the CERT discussion forum next. So in December, we ran our first ever panel discussion. Dr. Love, who's on the phone right now, and Dr. Arsenault and Ryan Sands followed up our event that we had for faculty appreciation with continuing discussion on self-care. A total of 484 people viewed that. That's a great number. Dr. Love, do you have anything you want to add about maybe your experience? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I think I do that to you often, don't I? You're muted if you want to speak. I'll give you a couple seconds. No, okay. So the current discussion we have running is using the internet to cheat. 359 views so far. We're only 2.5 weeks in. Dr. Elsasser is actually facilitating that for us. Dr. Elsasser, do you want to share anything about that? You're muted as well.
Yeah. Hi. Just that it's going really well. We devolve into kind of some bunny trails that aren't very helpful, which is natural, and then you just have to kind of change the topic a little bit. But there seems to be a lot of confusion about LopesNet and how it really works. LopesRight, yeah. And how it really works, and what all the scores mean and stuff. I just put up some resources from the Student Success Center, but it kind of sounds like we might need a professional development on LopesRight, how best to utilize it, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm noticing the same thing. I think it's kind of been eye-opening. I was actually a little surprised by the different discussions that are happening. I mean, we're talking about best practices. We're talking about things we're seeing students do. We're talking about LopesRight. We're talking about code of conduct process. So there's quite a few different conversations that are kind of emerging from one discussion, which I've never actually seen happen before. So it's really kind of cool. One thing it's prompted me to do is I've reached out to the compliance manager here, and she and I are going to sit down and discuss the process for code of conduct how it's working now, how maybe we could take some feedback that we're getting from people and maybe change it, or maybe it's just a matter of educating them, but we're going to just at least start that conversation. And what I'm hoping happens is that the form that is used to input code of conduct information gets updated so that a lot of that information is automatically pulled.
Yeah, there's a lot of complaints that it takes forever to fill out a code of conduct.
Right.
And you know, and I understand it, you know, with having to save PDFs of the private forum messages and things like that. So, so yeah, if we can simplify it, I think that might help a little bit. I also think we're too ready to give people the benefit of the doubt. Because if we give them the benefit of the doubt in my class, and then the next professor gives them the benefit of the doubt, they never really get held accountable.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think that what I'm noticing is people do want to extend grace, which is fine, but they also have to document it so that there's some kind of a trail. So like you said, it doesn't continue for every class.
And it's one thing if it's in a beginning class and they're just learning to understand stuff, but when you're 2 or 3 classes in, there's no, you know, there shouldn't be as much question about it.
Right. There's also that group of people that come back to school after not having been to school for a long time, and they have a bit of a learning curve as well. So, but
yeah, that's true.
Which is absolutely fine to have that learning curve. We just need to document it so that that curve ends up straightening out.
But yeah, you know, also I would really stress, I mean, even I don't know as much about Lopes Right as I probably should, and I'm full-time faculty.
Yeah.
So I would really highlight a Lopes Right something or other.
Absolutely. Lopes Right training and code of conduct. Hopefully we can refine that screen. We've got like the early alerts and the grade change forms that automatically pull information from the system. So I'm thinking code of conduct, we can make some real big improvements there. And that would be neat. That would be the first time that FAB has prompted like a revision of like a technical process like that. So that's kind of cool. So I'm sure I'll be talking to you more about that.
Yeah, no, it's been a great discussion overall. So,
awesome.
Georgette, yesterday COA had contacted me asking if we had any kind of presentation on resources for APA and just helping instructors with APA, like one of our on-demands on APA. So that might go with that, is if we added either resources or just an overview of APA as well for instructors that maybe are not used to APA.
We have a professional development workshop, but maybe we just need to promote it. And sometimes what FAB does is FAB will take content that faculty training and development has and socialize faculty to it. So that might be another area of opportunity. Thank you for that.
Also coming up will be our switch to APA 7th edition. I don't know about the other colleges in the College of Doctoral Studies. We haven't officially moved there yet. And, you know, but training on the changes and stuff would be very helpful. I'd rather get it in one bite than try to figure it out by myself, you know, that kind of thing.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Oh, there's some stuff on the chat. Let's see. Oh, Dr. Love says that she, going back to the discussion on best practices for self-care, she said that it was a great experience. And then Jim says, that's a great question. Where would be the best place to document this so the next professor knows? Oh, so I think that's regarding the code of conduct. And so the next instructor won't know. There's a FERPA policies in place that we don't share that kind of information with faculty. Everything that's reported code of conduct just stays in that student's file. Even the faculty who actually reports the violation usually doesn't get updated unless they have to take some kind of action. And that's just to protect the students' privacy. You know, if we were in trouble for something, we wouldn't want other people to know as well. So that's just kind of the policy. But if we extend grace and we let the code of conduct know that the students, you know, we suspect the student has some issues with integrity, then, you know, if the next instructor catches it and reports it as well, we can see a pattern or a trend, and then it can get addressed. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about that because, like I was saying, a couple of discussions have kind of emerged from the one discussion forum, and I think that they're really, really good avenues for professional development. So I'm excited about that. All right, Tiffany, you have some workshop updates.
Yes. So the Gotta Use the Auto Rubes was a great workshop. It even went into some best practices for feedback and using the rubrics to add feedback, substantive feedback to students, and all the instructors who gave us feedback did share that it was really helpful. So that one was great. We just finished up the understanding rubrics, which was kind of a follow-up. Dr. Mirta Espinola, or Ramirez Espinola, she presented some ways to make rubrics when there isn't a rubric already available. We did emphasize that to instructors that if there is already an auto rubric, then we must use that rubric. But if there isn't one, then some tips and tools and resources to make rubrics. We had about 67 attendees total. So that was great over the course of the 3 sessions, and we will wait to see that feedback. There was an issue with the link to record attendance, but the survey link is working, so we'll see that. Coming up in February, so next month, Jim is going to be presenting on the importance of play and connecting with students that way. I don't know if Jim wants to share a little description on that, but that is coming up.
Jim, if you want to talk a little bit to that, you can just unmute yourself. Or I know you're chatting too, so you can share on chat if you'd like.
But as soon as he has a little description on that, and we'll go ahead and start advertising for that workshop coming up in February. It'll be around the end of February.
Awesome, thank you. On demands. So we've got actually quite a few projects started and in various phases of development. I've been working with Nicole, who is one of our board members, on updating some of the technology ones we have. So she just finished incorporating interactive technology, which is a ground-focused on-demand. Next, we're going to work on updating Can You Hear Me? Can You Hear Me Now? Which is an online-focused, technology-based on-demand. So that's where that one is. Using servant leadership to encourage student autonomy. Content has been developed, and we are currently building it in the hosting platform, which is CERT, and we will include a link in the CERT form for FAB to review prior to making it public. We have another one, incorporating faith, which is already completely built. We're just waiting on dean approval. Anytime that we do something regarding integration of faith, the dean who is responsible for the person who developed it actually has to approve it. So that's what we're waiting for. Chris Lee, who is a current FAB member, is currently developing something on presentation skills. Katie Long is also developing some information on cooperative learning. And then Taylor Nelson, who is a current FAB member, she actually posted something in the FAB discussion forum, just wanting to get some input on some of her ideas for the one that she's doing in March. So I'll share a link to that in the minutes. Let's see, Jim doesn't have a mic in place, but he's sharing that the workshop will focus on the importance of play as adults. Think hobbies, outside interests, and how we can connect with our students and between students on those interests. Then I'll talk about how that connection can benefit our students' engagement and ownership in the online classroom. Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for that. All right. Any questions on any of the professional developments that we haven't currently in place? Yeah. All right, so next up is a Spring into Summer Best in Class Online Conference. We did this last year. It was the first ever online conference that we hosted. It is a collaborative effort between Faculty Advisory Board, online full-time faculty, Faculty Training and Development, and the CERT, Center for Innovation and Research and Teaching. So 4 different departments get together, and we lead a 2 days worth of workshops. So last year was 8 workshops. This year I think we're going to do 6 because attendance really dropped on the last one of each day. So usually we start the morning with like a Pecha Kucha style, which was a lot of fun, and then we'll have 2 traditional type workshops on each day. So where we're at now with that is we need to brainstorm some theme ideas, because what I'd like to do is send out a call for proposals. So if y'all have any ideas on themes for that workshop, we would love to hear them. I actually have a CERT discussion forum set up. Again, I'll send that link out as well. If you could be thinking about that, that would be fantastic. Dr. Alsasso, you did that last year.
Yes, I did. I did one of the Machu Picchu. That's I could never say it right. But yeah, I did. We had it 2 different mornings. I think we did or maybe we just practiced once and then did it once.
You practiced once and then 2 different.
Because I remember doing it twice. But yeah, it was fine. It was lovely listening to my other full-time faculty, because I think that was generally they were all full-time faculty. But if not, it was only about like online instruction, which for me helped a lot because that's what I do.
Right.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good program, good session.
Right. Yeah.
And I have an idea for a theme, but I know the wording isn't right, but something like doing it Lope style or
Okay.
keeping it Lope's real. I don't know, something to do with the Lope thing, because since this conversation I've been having, we're talking a lot about the policies and the practices and of GCU, and more exposure to that I would think would be incredibly helpful, especially for the adjuncts. So.
Right, I think that's a good point. So maybe more of a culture, kind of introducing them to GC culture, kind of.
Yeah. And
okay.
yeah. I mean, even just walkthroughs of how you do a plagiarism report, things like that. And tips and tricks for how we do it quickly.
Yeah. Jim is sharing a name, Get Lopes. That's awesome. Yeah, that is a very good idea. Thank you for that. I'm going to collect all the ideas, and what I'm going to do is run them by the directors of each of those departments and have them provide some input on that. So awesome. Thank you. Oh, next up, we're going to, so as you have ideas, please feel free to share them on the forum, or you can email me always directly. Next up, though, we're going to do 2019, a review. And we had a really exciting year last year. And you guys were a part of that because you do the fall part of 2019. So some really exciting things that we did last year. We did a cohort best in class event. And I'm going to talk about each of these major events in another slide, so I'm not going to go through them too much now. Again, the Best in Class Spring into Summer Online Conference. We actually increased the professional development stipend last year. We did a faculty appreciation event, the first ever multi-panel discussion, which I talked about a little bit earlier, and we also did a Twitter poster contest. So there were some new things that we did in 2019, which were really fun. We had some really good results with. So the first up is the Best in Class cohort event that was done last March. During this event, we basically honored all of the work that cohort faculty do for us. We had 5 different cohort faculty present their best in class strategies was working in their class. And they did that like a Pecha Kucha style. 60 people attended. We shared a meal together. We had, I think, somebody there to take professional pictures. And then we ended up taking all the content and creating it on demand, so it was available asynchronously as well. So that was like the first main event of 2019. We followed that up in October with the faculty appreciation event, which I kind of talked about a little bit earlier. About 90 people attended this one. This time, instead of 5 presenters, we had 3. All our presenters were cohort faculty, but all faculty were invited to attend. They did many teaches on topics of self-care, like taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your soul. And that one was also, we got a good feedback from that one as well. I think that one was Italian food, if I remember right. It was good. Dr. Kaplan sharing the Best in Class cohort event sounds fun and innovative. And regarding this one, he likes the emphasis on self-care. All right, so this was last year's Best in Class Spring into Summer event. And sometimes I call it Spring into Summer Best in Class. I can't decide which way it should go. But this was a huge success. It was over 2 days. We had 376 attendees plus 16 facilitators and 18 presenters. We offered 8 workshops that were offered synchronously and virtually. And it was a ton of fun. The Petra Kuchers especially I enjoyed. It was just such a collaborative discussion about things that are working. And the Petra Kuchers were mostly done by the online full-time faculty, which was really awesome because they spend so much time online that if anybody's going to refine a process, it's going to be, you know, an online full-time faculty member. So sharing that with our adjunct online faculty was just fantastic. So that was super fun to do those. And the other events we had were mostly done by FAB sponsored contractors. So that's what we're hoping to do again this year, but I want to actually put out a call for proposals specifically for that. So that was a really fun event. All right. Last year we tried our first Twitter poster contest. So we had faculty make Twitter slides, like poster slides, but we didn't have a huge turnout, but it was our first one ever, and it was still kind of fun. And we got some great content that was shared with faculty as a result of this. But this one was tied into our fall conference that we do every year that faculty training and development does. So that was fun. All right, these are the workshops we ran in 2019. I'll just give you a minute to look at those. As I'm looking down the list, 5 of those were done by people who were either faculty advisory board members now or in the past. Here are some statistics of workshops over the years. So 2016, we had 877 participants. That's back then we were only doing it synchronously. So we didn't record them and offer them. Well, we did, but we didn't take attendance. We had no way of taking attendance of the synchronous back then. 2017, we added an asynchronous quiz that could record attendance. So that's why I think the number jumped a little bit to 959. 2018, we had 1,099 people participate in our workshops. And then this year dropped a little bit to 1,055 people who participated in our workshops. This year, I took a look at new projects versus going back and looking at old FAB projects. Old being like they were workshops that were recorded maybe 2018, 2017, because we still have some people going back and looking at stuff that we've done in the past. And so 1,008 people were involved in the new projects and 47 in the past projects. Statistics are always kind of tricky because we completely rely on whether people take the attendance quiz at the end. So these numbers could just be a small bit of who actually watches our stuff asynchronously, because if they watch the video and then don't take the quiz, we have no way of really capturing that data. So I like to think these numbers are significantly higher than they are. Right, these are on-demands that were created in 2019. Actually, the top 2 are still in development. We've actually been working on that top one since March of last year, so it's been a while. The bottom 2, those were we took the events and we made asynchronous versions, so that's what the bottom 2 are. NSYNC norming was a project with COE. Managing large classes is one of my favorite on-demands. Also, engaging adult learners. And then traditional instructional assistance, that was done. That was kind of a collaboration between FAB and 4 different colleges, so that was a fun project. Right. On-demand statistics. Back in 2016, we had 103 views. 2017, that number jumped to 425. 2018, 187, and last year, 260. Yeah, I have to kind of wonder about the 217 statistics because it's so far out. One of the things that happened is we changed that quiz link to capture attendance, and so I can't be 100% confident in the numbers, but at least it gives you kind of an idea of the trend. All right, we had some discussions running in 2019. I'll give you a minute to look at those. Discussion numbers are always pretty big. We look at views. Dr. Elsasser saying, I wonder if there's a way to highlight the catalog of previous workshops that are still available and promote it some more. I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that if we could think of a way to do that. I've started using hashtags in some of my, like the on-demands that we create, in hopes that people will search and find them. We just have so much that we offer. Dr. Kaplan says, great topics. So our discussion statistics in 2016, we have 6,093 views. In 2017, it jumped to 7,406 views. 2018, we decreased a little bit to 5,949 views. And then 2019, 5,304. So again, 2017 numbers are slightly higher. It could be that we maybe marketed differently that year. I need to go back and look at that. The really fun thing about discussions, though, is that people go back and they look at them, and I'm always shocked by how much they look at them. These are some discussions that we ran in 2017. So as of 2018, we had numbers displayed in that kind of center column, and then to the right of that, as of 2019. Search discussions that we don't take attendance with quizzes. I just look at views, and so I go back. It's just a number that keeps increasing. So you can see, you know, on the first line, reconnecting the college student with the learning process, we had almost 1,000 more people look at it in 2019 versus 2018. So I love our discussions because people go back and they continue watching them or listening or reviewing, I guess is the better word. 2018, you can see the totals that we had. And again, people are still, you know, as of when I looked at these numbers in late December, they're still viewing them. So that's kind of exciting. All right, professional development stipends. These are ones that were awarded in 2018. And as you can see, there's a pretty good range of colleges represented. That's always nice when that happens. Most of these people ended up creating a discussion forum within their own college-specific forum. And so that's how they shared that information. All right, looking forward to 2020. So that's 2019 year in review. There is an on-demand for FAB where I actually just updated, so you can actually see the year in review for 2017, 2018, and now 2019. So I'll share that in my follow-up email. And the last thing I have that I added to the agenda that wasn't on your agenda is goals for 2020. So we accomplished a lot and did a lot of new things in 2019, but we're always looking to try different things. So if you have any ideas or even maybe a focus or a theme for our 2020, if you want to share that, I'll create a discussion forum for that. And if you want to share ideas now, that would be great. Or when maybe we keep with the theme of the Best in Class conference too, you know, just reinforcing policy and acclimating people to GCU culture. You know, that might be an idea, but I'll open that discussion up. And does anybody else have anything they'd like to share? All right then, thank you for joining us this morning and have a blessed day.